Shalom. We are the ISUBK coming out of 1 West on 25th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander General Yohan. Boy, this deal with this child being, with this black foster child, that his foster mother, which is a white woman, and she's married to a black man, threatened to kick this child in the balls behind a scuffle that happened between the white daughter and that black boy that was the foster child. Now she's married. Now this woman is married also to a black man, right? And being the fact that this black man did nothing to even stop this thing from even happening, right? Shows that his spirit was so beat down. You're not going to seek salvation at the hands of the devil. You know, that's one of the points of this. You're not going to ever seek salvation at their hands. They're going to, and the reason why, let me inform you on something. The reason why she threatened to kick him out of all places, she kicked him other places, but she threatened to kick him in his balls so that he could not have children. While we sat back are thinking that white people make better parents than black people. You know, and we're even convinced of that. That's the funny thing about it. We are even convinced of that. Now, let me tell you, because I did a class a while back talking about when evil heathens do good things. Now, this is kind of bouncing off of that, because with this situation right here, right, what happened is something happened between the little boy and her daughter, which I think was her physical daughter, her physical white daughter, you know, and she told the daughter to beat him up. Well, the daughter attacked him, and the little black boy got out on the daughter. So that infuriated the mother. And the mother went to, and she kicked the hell out of him, and then you could hear the damn sounds of thwaps of the kick. You see what I'm saying? That means that she meant business. And this is a little boy. Right. Now, let me let you know something. These people, we so simple of a people that we can't even see, the bigger picture of anything. Now, when she was sitting there, now hold on, let me talk about something right quick. When white people adopt black children, they're not adopting black children because they so love humanity or anything like that. You see what I'm saying? And let me tell you one of the reasons why she was probably kicking the hell out of him, because she adopted this kid, right? White people only like to adopt black children that they can use them for something. You see what I'm saying? If you're good with handling the ball, like in that movie, what's the name of that movie? The
Blind Side.
The Blind Side. Now, she took him in. Why? Because he had NFL talent. She believed that he was going to the NFL. But let me let you in on something. If you don't go into the NFL, they're going to cut you loose.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? You can't just be a regular dude. Like, say, for instance, you go to college, you be a regular dude, you get you come out of college, you get a regular job. You see what I'm saying? You get a job managing something or something like that. White people we don't even understand the depths we don't understand the depths of Satan. That's part of our problem. We do not understand the depths of our oppressors. You see what I'm saying? The white man is the devil that the Bible speaks of. And we have to understand this. So whenever they do something good, we better be questioning that good, the reason of why they do it, why they're doing it. Because every damn gift that comes from the white man is actually a goddamn Trojan horse. We need to understand that. You see what I'm saying? And that gift that he gave you is going to cost you way more than you can afford to pay, even though it seems to be free. You see what I'm saying? That's one thing that we need to start realizing. Now, I'm going to go to Daniel, the first chapter. Daniel chapter 1 and verse 1. In the third year of the reign of Jehoiakim, king of Judah, came Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, into Jerusalem and besieged it. And the Lord gave Jehoiakim, king of Judah, into his hand, with part of the vessels of the house of God, which he carried into the land of Shinar to the house of his God. And he brought the vessels into the treasure house of his God. And the king spake unto Ashpenaz, the master of the eunuchs. Now, notice he spoke to the master of the eunuchs, right? Now, when that white woman threatened to kick that black boy in the balls, what was she really trying to make him? She's trying to make him a eunuch, right? Because see, some are made, just as Christ explained, some are made, and some men are made, become eunuchs for the sake, of the gospel. For the sake of the kingdom of God, they made him, like Apostle Paul made himself a eunuch. All of his, his genitals and everything, wasn't nothing wrong with it. But he made himself a eunuch. Now, when it talks about, when it also says during the time of Hezekiah, when the Lord said that he will make the, his seed eunuchs in the king of eunuchs unto the king of Babylon. You see what I'm saying? That's what all the heathen nations plan on doing to us. That's why that woman threatened to kick that boy in the balls. You see what I'm saying? Because even though they seem to be loving that child, just like that show, just like back in the day, I'm an OG. Back in the day, you had Different Strokes. You had the show Different Strokes, and then you had the show Webster. They had Emmanuel Lewis playing in it, and he was little, they're a little cute. He was like a cute little dog. You see what I'm saying? Now, what were they actually, did they love them or did they hate him? Let me tell you how they hated him. Because they hate what's inside his stones. That's what they're going there to attack. That's why that woman threatened to kick that black boy in the balls so that he could not have children. That's the reason why white people adopt black children. You see what I'm saying? Especially the males. Because the seed is with the males. What threatens to destroy their kingdom is with the male. You see what I'm saying? It's inside his loins, in his stones. That's the death of them. That's why that white woman threatened to kick that black boy in the balls, who was the adopted child.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? She had already done made the father to a goddamn eunuch. All his strength was taken from him. That's why he didn't say nothing. That's why his stance concerning her and what she was doing was weak. And just like what General Johanna said, she probably beat the hell out of his ass at home. Quite sure she did. And he didn't want to go up against her. You see what I'm saying? The white man is the devil, and his nurturing white woman is the damn devil too. You see what I'm saying? She's the devil just like he is. And the king spake unto Ashpenaz, the master of the eunuchs, that he should bring certain of the children of Israel, of the king's seed, and of the princes, children in whom was no blemish, but well favored, and skillful in all wisdom, and cunning in knowledge, and understanding science, and such as had ability in them to stand in the king's palace. Now, see, that goes back to what I was saying. They only want the best, what they view as the best of everybody, right? And it's funny because, you also have, people in this society that have gifts or whatever, talents or whatever, that the white man likes and that he can profit from, and they think that they themselves are somehow the elite, right? Even I've seen Christian pastors teach on this wise. You see what I'm saying? I've seen them teach like this, which pretty much saying be the best slave that you could possibly be. I've seen them teach that, on television, Christian pastors, black Christian pastors. They'll go into the story of Joseph and try to make it like Joseph was this big coon. You see what I'm saying?
That's right.
So that they can produce other coons, and we would think that Joseph was a coon, so we'd think that our service on this earth is to be, a coon just like what we was told that he was.
Right.
Joseph was anything but a coon. What the first thing Joseph did was separate his people from the damn Egyptians.
That's right.
That's the first thing that he did. As soon as we came into the land of Egypt, he set us in our own land, and he devised a good, skillful tactic to make the Egyptians not want us inside their cities. So that we would be in this pleasant land, this country land, you know what I'm saying? Because we naturally supposed to be a country people. We naturally like that. That's why Joseph had Pharaoh give us the cities in Goshen. That's why he had us do that. And where we had the fatted calf, because what did he tell them? He told them that our people was, herds. And being a herder was an abomination to the Egyptians.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And they had Joseph there because he was so skillful, he was well favored. And let me tell you something, the only time that the white people is really gonna try and embrace you like that is if you have a talent that you have an uncommon talent that they really can't find anywhere. That's the only time that they will actually need you. They don't need a football player or musician. Yeah, they need you as a whole, just like they need you the football players and musicians and all that are on the same damn level as a regular working person that goes in slavery every damn day and punches the clock for 8 hours a day. They just make more money. That's the only difference. Because they don't need them. You see what I'm saying? Daniel and his companions were actually needed. And that's what started to really catapult them inside that society.
That's right.
To where they will become rulers in that society, and they will be able to be the ones who will be the governors of their people and separate their people from the damn heathens.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? They had something that they couldn't go nowhere else in the world and get. Daniel interpreted dreams.
Right.
No one else, all of the astrologers and all of those people, just like Joseph had the same gift. He interpreted dreams also, and also too, bouncing off the question that was asked a few weeks ago, when some brother asked the question of, are the gifts only specific with the tribes? And we told him, no, this is another example of that, because Joseph and Daniel had the same dream. They had the same ability, the same gift, right? Daniel was of the tribe of Judah. Joseph, of course, was his own tribe. His children went on to become Ephraim and Manasseh, which is known today as the Puerto Ricans and Cubans.
Right.
These were two very like-minded men, and also, too, Joseph was also a forerunner of Christ. Because Joseph also exceeded all of his brethren, even in righteousness. He did the same thing that Christ would do. Christ is of the tribe of Judah. Joseph is the father, like I said, the father of Ephraim and Manasseh. You see what I'm saying? We had two totally separate tribes that would come from his loins. So that further answers that question. The Most High can get, just like you can have a prophet of any tribe. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter. The prophets of the tribe of Issachar. You know what I'm saying? Prophets of the tribe of Zebulun. It doesn't matter. Of the tribe of Gad. Whatever, right? All right. And we go further in with the read. Children in whom was no blemish, but well favored and skillful in all wisdom and cunning and knowledge and understanding science, and such as had ability in them to stand in the king's palace, and whom they might teach the learning and the tongue of the Chaldeans. What is the thing that they want you to do? This is another way of them neutering you. Because they want you to forget about your language and your custom and take on theirs. Right. That's why they wanted to teach them the tongue of the Chaldeans. You see what I'm saying? In hopes that they would eventually forget their own tongue. Right? Which now, with this whole adoption thing, when white people adopt black children, what are they trying to do? I mean, they already got your language. You already don't know your language. You don't know your identity. But what they try to do is to drag you even further from that and make you love white people, just like what was trying to be done with Daniel and his companions here, was trying to make them love the Chaldeans and want to be a Chaldean. The same thing that their forefather Abraham the Lord had to deliver and break him out of. You see what I'm saying? That's what they try and latch you back to.
Right.
The white man's a devil that the Bible speaks of. And the king appointed them a daily provision of the king's meat and of the wine which he drank. So nourishing them 3 years, that at the end thereof they might stand before the king. Now, I've seen one thing when was on YouTube, they had this dumb, as the topic that I'm getting ready to go into, where you had this dumb white dude that said something like, white people feed the world and we do this and we do that.
All right.
They don't do that. Like I said before, every gift that they give is a Trojan horse. You see what I'm saying? They're not doing it out of being kind and just being nice and tender-hearted. They're not doing it out of that. They're doing it to try to kill you. They want to take what you have. That's it. You see what I'm saying? And another thing too, the only reason why they give black people food stamps and things like that, because you got silly Negroes that sit there and talk about, well, how we gonna hate white people when they give us jobs and they give us food stamps? Then stop taking the white man's job and his food stamp. You're gonna hate white people? We say dumb stuff like that. We're the only race that says something stupid like that. Every other race that comes here to America gets, something off of it, but they don't give their heart to America like that, to the white man like that. They don't do that. They go, and their mind is empowering their own people. And if you people that sit there and say that to black people, then why don't you carry that same message of love to every damn body else then? I don't see you trying to preach that shit to the Chinese.
All right.
See what I'm saying? I don't see you going into the Chinese restaurants and telling them, or to the Arab Muslims and saying how much they should love the white man and everything because he allows them to come over here and all that. Right. The only people you say that to is blacks and Hispanics. That's the only people. If you love everybody like you say, then spread that message of love to everybody. Go to the Russians. Tell them to forsake Islam and be a Christian.
Right.
Since America lets them over here. You see what I'm saying? Another thing is the treachery of the Christian Negro. It's funny because the only people that we see now as immigrants is blacks and Hispanics. When you have all of these other nations that come to this country, we totally kick them off we put them out of sight and out of mind when it comes to these discussions. And the only damn people that we can see is the Mexicans by saying, no, they taking all of our jobs. I don't know no niggas is willing to pick no goddamn tomatoes. I don't want to do it.
All right.
You know what I'm saying? I don't want to pick tomatoes for $5 an hour. You see what I'm saying? I don't want to do a lot of the horrible jobs that they do. They're not taking our jobs. These are companies that are owned by white people. They're not owned by us. How the hell you gonna set that claim to our job? That's slavery. That's a slave. You own nothing in these companies. Not 1% of 1% of any goddamn thing. So how the hell you gonna sit there and call it yours? Just like you calling America your country when you own nothing in it. That's stupid.
All right.
And the king appointed them a daily provision of the king's meat. Because that's the reason why. Now, what is he trying to give them the king's meat for? Is to make sure that their allegiance is with them. You see what I'm saying? As the saying goes, the hand that feeds is the hand that leads. That's why they're doing it. And of the wine which he drank, so nourishing them 3 years, that at the end thereof they might stand before the king. Now among these were of the children of Judah, Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, unto whom the prince of the eunuchs gave names. And he gave unto Daniel the name Belshazzar. Now think about it. Now just think about it. you know, that same little black boy, they'll end up changing his name.
Right.
If his name was Daquan or something, which ain't a Hebrew name, but it's not an American name either. I mean, because that's what happens when your history is lost. It becomes like this jambalaya between, you know, what you were and what you become. You know what I'm saying? You know, we don't even understand why we even name our children names like Quante. You know what I'm saying? Quan, you know, everything's a Quan this and Quan that. We don't even understand the reason why. And then it's funny because we'll even cut each other up for that. I don't cut nobody up for naming their child Taquan. You know what I'm saying? There's a reason why I won't do it. It's because we don't know who we are, who we formerly were, who we are, and we're amongst another people and we know we're not them. So a lot of us don't want to name our child Jason. You see what I'm saying? We don't want to name something in us, tells us not to name him that. Not to name him Chad.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Not to name him, you know, whatever the, you know, white names that we could damn find. Because we know that there's something in us that know that this we're different. We don't know who we were, you know what I'm saying, but we know that we're not who we're amongst.
That's right.
So now that's how we come out with names like Daquan.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? There's something that's inside the spirit, right? Which is a twisted thing, but at the same time, yeah, Daquan might come into truth before Jason. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know, it has its perks to it. You know, because we don't know who the hell we were, but we damn sure know we ain't white people.
Right.
So nourishing them 3 years, that at the end thereof they might stand before the king. And among these, which I've read off the names, and then also going into the name in the 7th verse, right? These were all Babylonian names.
Right.
So now, if he actually had a name like that, if the little dude had a name like that before he got adopted, they'll want to change that name. You see what I'm saying? And give him some type of heathen, you give him a heathen white name. You know, something that seems more relaxing to them and less threatening. Because Daquan is still threatening. Because that's one thing that's so not like them. You see what I'm saying? I ain't never met no white dude named Daquan.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Or Jaquan, or anything like that.
Quanell.
Yeah, Quanell, you know, any of those type of names. I've never met a white dude or any other race with those kind of names. You see what I'm saying? As for these 4 children, we're going to go to the 17th verse. We're going to go to verse 9. Now God had brought Daniel into favor and tender love with the prince of the eunuchs. Now let me clear up something right quick. Now when it said that he brought him into tender love, a lot of people will sit there and they'll see this through a homosexual eye. You know what I'm saying? Because in their mind, you know, a eunuch is a man that had his stuff chopped off and he runs around like a woman, he talks real light, and he's like, you know, this asexual, half-gay type dude. And when it says that God brought Daniel into favor and tender love with the prince of the eunuchs, we'll think, oh, they must have had a homosexual relationship. Hell no. When it said he brought him into tender love with it, because this was a man of power. This eunuch was a man of power, and a lot of eunuchs that become eunuchs like this, these kind of eunuchs, a lot of times they've made themselves eunuchs because they love power. You know what I'm saying? They, you know, a lot of them don't have, you know, really useful woman like that because they understand. Cover God, just had to get the incense together. But as I was saying, now this kind of eunuch, he was a prince, he was the one that stood up in the stead or whatever, and he was over a whole bunch of eunuchs and all that, right? Because the Babylonians, they were Hamites. Hamites had a lot of eunuchs. And the white man has his culture. He gets his culture, actually he gets a large portion of his culture from the Hamites. All the way back from the white man's beginning. Because the white man was merged with it. The very first white man, after the flood, married Hamite women. And had his seed produced out of that, so his children took on the cultures of their mothers. That's one of the reasons why the white man loves making eunuchs out of people today. Just like what the Hamites did in times past. See what I'm saying? But as far as what with this prince of the eunuchs or whatever, as I was saying, some becomes eunuchs out of a quest for power also. That happens too. You see what I'm saying? Because they understand that a woman a lot of times threatens the power of a man and such, and so they decide that they just love power so much that they decide to totally leave women alone and just go forward in their quest and all that, right? All right. And when it talks about it brought him into tender love with him, I mean, like say for instance, he was given because he's seen, that these brothers right here, and Daniel being the leader of them, they're like, man, these dudes are strong. These were men that, Daniel and them were men of integrity. And when it talks about it brought him into tender love with him, means the dude, his heart was started to be softer towards him, even though this man, he was a heathen. His heart started to be tender and softer towards Daniel and towards Daniel's people. That's what it's talking about, to where, it would be an incident where somebody would bring up an accusation against Daniel or Daniel's people, and he would be like, wait a minute, hold on, no. I know him better than that. It is not saying that they had love, such a tender love and crying and he was like, just Daniel. No, that's white people stuff right there. That's how they would depict things if they was to make a movie about this incident. See what I'm saying? Just like they made Daniel in the lion's den and stuff like that. They would gay it up. This ain't have a goddamn thing to do with the type of tender love that we be thinking of. It means his heart was soft towards Daniel and them, and he was persuaded towards their causes, whatever. Would Daniel come with a cause, to this prince of the eunuchs? And the prince of the eunuchs would consider that cause and be like, all right, okay, fine. I know what type of man you are, and I'll go ahead and grant you that thing right there that you asking for. You know what I'm saying? That'll help you and your people, because I understand the integrity of you or whatever. That's tender love. You see what I'm saying? That's what it's talking about. It's not talking about some damn sodomite homosexual stuff. All right. And the prince of the eunuchs said unto Daniel, I fear my lord, the king, who hath appointed your meat and your drink. For why should he see your faces worse likened than the children which are of your sort? Then shall ye make me in danger of my head to the king. Now, here's the tender, this is another part of the tender love, because this man was ready to put his life on the line. You see what I'm saying? Now, just as I was saying before, they have to need you in order for you to be in this kind of favor with them. You're not going to get it behind having a goddamn ball or any of that. If the Lord, has them to take you captive or whatever, your integrity and your spirit, and your uncompromising ways, what I'm saying? Well, the Lord will start to move on your behalf because of that. You see what I'm saying? It's not behind you being some type of big major damn coon. Like I was saying before, Joseph, Daniel, none of them were coons. They were uncompromising men. You see what I'm saying? Men that were willing to stand in the face of death. So therefore, their enemies had favor upon them, and that's the tender love right there. You see what I'm saying? All right. Let me go further with this. Let's go to verse 17. As for these children, God gave them knowledge and skill in all learning and wisdom, and Daniel had understanding in all visions and dreams. They needed these dudes. They needed them. You see what I'm saying? Now, if you think you're gonna be something inside the white man's kingdom or whatever, you have to be needed. You see what I'm saying? They can get a ball handler any damn where. You know what I'm saying? That's nothing. But can they get a man that can interpret dreams and stuff like that anywhere? No, they can't. And these type of gifts only get manifested real strong is when you're separate from the goddamn heathen. You see what I'm saying? Because these things right here will start to come. You see what I'm saying? And they will be looking at us as their fathers. And that poor black dude, that poor little black boy that was the adoptee and all of that. Man, I feel sorry for that dude. He's going through hell. He's going through hell in that damn white woman's house. That Margaret Sanger, protege, he's going through hell inside that house. She hates him because he's a black man. And then for all you dumb black people that sit there and say, well, she can't be racist because she with a black man. Just because somebody wants to screw you does not mean they love you. This is one thing that you got to understand. When you got one nation that's so far above another nation and they over them and they ruling over them and they having sex with that people, that is just like eating that people. You are even further, you even causing the whole damage to be even worse. When we was up under the other captivities, right? A lot of the other captivities, what would they do? They would come through, the Lord angry with us, they would come through, they would kill us, they would do this, they would do that. You know what I'm saying? They would take us into captivity, but then they would make us a separate society from themselves. You see what I'm saying? They didn't want to, they would at least have to, and we got to keep our identity. Our identity wasn't stripped from us or anything like that. We still had our identity. You see what I'm saying? Now, at the end of the days that the king had said he should bring them in, then the prince of the eunuchs brought them in before Nebuchadnezzar, and the king communed with them. And among them all was found none like Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. Therefore stood they before the king. Now, these were the top dudes. This became the governing body. You see what I'm saying? And how do we start to be able to do things like this? It's through separation. You have to be a separate people. They separated themselves even though they was physically inside the palace of Babylon. They were still separate. You see what I'm saying? Now, what we're going to do is we're going to start to talk about race wars. The race wars, they're inevitable. But this one is probably, I'm quite sure that this one is going to be worse than the ones before. You see what I'm saying? And I know a lot of blacks, Hispanics see this coming on, right? A lot of blacks and Hispanics see this whole thing, they see it unfolding because as World War III starts to kick off real strong, right? This is going to be the inevitable. It's going to happen, you know. They're going to want to throw us in the concentration camps and all of that stuff, just like they do in any other world war. Because while they're at war with the world, who are they going to take their fury out on? They're going to take it out on us. You see what I'm saying? And then you have brothers, you know, brothers are sitting there talking about, you know, the race war, this and that. And then you have white people that's saying things like, and black people that are saying things like, oh, don't do it, black man. Don't do it, black man, because the white man, he's such a savage. He's such this and he's such that. And he got this and he got that. And they're going on and on and on and on and on, right? White people are scared of a race war also. Because see, one thing that white people know is what a race war would do. Are they scared of it for the actual battle? No, I wouldn't say that. They're afraid of it because of the separation. Because see, when we separate, the white man becomes the enemy of the white man. You see what I'm saying? Let me give you an example. Let's take an example. Prohibition. Anybody know why white people were killing each other during the time of Prohibition? And they were living just like how we living on the south side of Chicago. They were living in the same places, as a matter of fact. Like when you go to Chicago and you see them big old homes and things like that, them big gigantic brick homes, a lot of the times it was gangsters that lived in those homes. You know, Al Capone lived in the south side of Chicago. Right where blacks and Hispanics live at right now. You see what I'm saying? So, now, why were they killing each other? What's the spiritual reason why they were killing each other? Now, we understand about the prohibition and about the, you know, they was fighting over territory, fighting over turf and all that, right? Because, you know, you got so many, you know, you also got so many black people to say, well, in the race war, blacks are just turned against each other. Well, you know, if we're not separated from white people, yeah, you're right. We would turn against each other. You see what I'm saying? We would. But let me tell you something that'll happen though. If we're separated from white people, right? And there becomes some type of uprising among us when we're separate, we will be stronger to handle that situation and have everybody else back up on the same page. You see what I'm saying? Once we're separate, there's a great measure of strength that comes behind just us being separate, because that's what the Lord wants. That's what He requires of us. It's for us to be separate from the people that are destroying us. You see what I'm saying? That's what the Lord requires. He requires separation of His children. He requires for His people to separate from every other people. You see what I'm saying? That way, once we're separate, then once we're separate, the Lord can turn His anger upon the people that have been harming us. That's one of the reasons why white people love Martin Luther King so much. They love Martin Luther King so much. Let me tell you why. Because Martin Luther King prolonged their destruction. You see what I'm saying? And allowed them to do what they wanted to do for the next so many years. Because with us being integrated, right? Now, you know what I'm saying, the Lord is steps back. Like, well, you know, y'all integrated right along with Him, so I'm not going to carry out my fury upon them. But once we separate, then the Lord can see the white man, you know what I'm saying, and we'll be ready to start to destroy him. But with us being integrated, that's why they love Martin Luther King so much. Because Martin Luther King merged us and mingled us together in with them, right? So now, who catches the wrath? We catch it while we're in the midst of them. You see what I'm saying? That's the reason why police are shooting black men down on the street, black men and women, and white men are killing and stabbing up black women at damn subway stations, all of that. You see that fury right there? You see the fury? That's what the hell's going on. Now, with us being separate though, right? Now the Lord can see us as two groups. Instead of us being this mingled cocktail bullshit group. He can see us as two groups now. He can see His people. And He can see the people that's been oppressing them. You see what I'm saying? Now, We had going back to the whole prohibition thing. We were separate from white people. That's why white people were killing each other. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, white people brag about, whoa, we got this and we got that, and we got all of this, we got all of this weaponry. Y'all never be able to win. It will be a slaughter. It will be this and it will be that. But if we separated from them, then they would fight each other. You see what I'm saying? White people would kill one another if we separated from them. Now, notice something. They talk about, now notice something globally, right? Now, when you look at places like Bosnia, Croatia, all of those Caucasian countries, right? And they have all of this upheaval and all of this, this group fighting that group, this faction fighting this faction, right? And what are they doing? They're all killing each other, been fighting for hundreds of years. But let me tell you something. Let me tell you something to observe. You ever observe the fact that there's hardly no black people there? There's hardly no black people in those places, like those Croatias and all of that, those type of places. And certain parts of Russia and all of that, right? They're fighting and killing one another in the places of war torn. Now, let me tell you something. If you got, let's say 50, 60,000, you move 50, 67,000 black people into any of those places, Croatia, Bosnia, or any of those places, right? And we used to set up communities. First damn thing, we'd go into projects. That's what we'd be at, right? And society. You see what I'm saying? We would fuel that society, and eventually, you know what Bosnia would look like? Bosnia would start to look like New York. And where we would live at would look like Bosnia looks like today, only with black faces there, only with black people there. You see what I'm saying? Where we would live at out of those places. You see what I'm saying? Because we will be there to fuel their society. Of course, they will mingle themselves in among us. You see what I'm saying? They would do that, mingle, and, black men would be screwing Bosnian women, black women would be screwing Bosnian men. You know what I'm saying? And we will build, and that place will become super damn rich. So, knowing this, how should we fight? We should fight with separation and loving our own. You see what I'm saying? Loving thy neighbor as thou love thyself. The first two commandments that Christ said was the most powerful commandments. Those are the biggest things that you could actually do, the biggest weapon that you could actually have. That's why the ISUPK says brotherhood is a weapon. You see what I'm saying? That's why the ISUPK says that. And also, too, we've always been at a disadvantage when it comes to war and stuff and weapons and stuff like that. And I ain't gonna say war, but when it came to weaponry and resources in any war, we've always been at a disadvantage. But the Lord, who is our rock, brought us the victory. Let me give you an example of that. Now we're gonna go to Samuel. We're gonna go to 1 Samuel chapter 13 and verse 17. First Samuel chapter 13 and verse 17. And the spoilers came out of the camp of the Philistines in 3 companies. One company turned unto the way that leadeth to Ophrah, unto the land of Shual. And another company turned the way of Bethhoron. And another company turned to the way of the border that looketh to the valley of Zeboim, towards the wilderness. Now there was no smith found throughout all the land of Israel. Now what does a smith do? This Smith that's being talked about is what we call a blacksmith. And why is he called a blacksmith? Because he makes his weapons of destruction and death. He works with iron. He makes the hammers. He makes swords. He makes axes. He makes the things that that people go to war with. That's what he makes. He forges weapons. For the Philistines said, lest the Hebrews make them swords or spears. You see what I'm saying? So what does this say? We was at a disadvantage, weaponry wise, right? And the only thing that we had to fight with was tools. But all Israelites went down to the Philistines to sharpen every man his share, and his culture, and his axe, and his mattocks. Man, we forced our way down into there. He said we went into the Philistines and did this. So when we came with that type of spirit, that type of pump, they're like, oh, they kind of backed up. You know what I'm saying? Oh, my goodness. You know what that is? That's like the equivalent to 300-400 black men at one time going and ain't taking no for a damn answer and going and getting them gun licenses and getting guns. The white man see that, you know what I'm saying, and he see that you organize and all that. Now he's gonna oh man, these guys, they probably gonna try and get it in. Next thing you know, they be trying to help you out, trying to tell you what weapon, what gun is good, what gun is, you know what I'm saying? You go in there as an individual by yourself and everything, they looking at you all funny, right? And they really actually don't even want you having a damn weapon, but you go in, they see you part of a damn black organization, you know what I'm saying? They see you part of the ISUPK, right? And now they looking at you like, well, I can help you out. Well, we got this type of gun right here, and and it does this, and it's double action shot, and they coming and trying to help you out. That's why it says here. Now there was no smith found throughout all the land of Israel, not a weapons maker. There was no weapons makers. For the Philistines said, lest the Hebrews make them swords or spears. But all the Israelites went down to the Philistines to sharpen every man his share, and his culture, and his axe, and his mattocks. Now we all going to sharpen our stuff at the same time. Another thing too, the way these Philistines is looking at things, they like, well, okay, this is what they're trying to do. They're convincing themselves because they see us all coming down at once, like at the shop and everything. They're like, oh, okay, they're just trying to work. You see what I'm saying? Because the heathens are scared of a race war also. You see what I'm saying? They're afraid of a race war. Even though they'll fight it if it comes down because their hatred for us is so bad. It's so bad. You see what I'm saying? It's so much hatred, so much bitter hatred that they got. But at the same damn time, though, when it says that we came down to sharpen everything, right? They convinced themselves and said, okay, they're just only trying to work. They're just trying to work. This goes to show you how much potential we got. You see what I'm saying? Yet they had a fire for the mattocks, and for the cultures, and for the forks, and for the axes, and to sharpen the goads. Now look at this. Now, what are we getting ready to get it in? We always had it. Okay, let me go into Haiti. What did the Haitians fight the French with? The French had guns. They had the best weaponry that you could get on that day. All right? They had all of that. What did the Haitians have? Let me tell you what the Haitians had. The Haitians had separation. They separated themselves for one thing. Because they sit there and try and tell the lie. They sit there and try and tell the lie and say, just like you hear on the 700 Club, and say, well, Haiti gave itself to, Haiti actually gave itself to Satan in 1776. And they said to Satan, if you deliver us, we'll serve you. That's what they say. I've heard them say that on the 700 Club. You see what I'm saying? And they say that's how the Haitians beat the French out of Haiti. That's a goddamn lie. Because I don't see anywhere in the Bible. Now, if the Lord was with you know, if the Lord was with the French, then how the hell could they make a, how the hell could the Israelites make a, how the hell could the Haitians make a pact with Satan and win? And defeat them in the war? You see what I'm saying? That couldn't happen. I don't see nowhere in the Bible where Satan's delivered anybody. Deliverance comes from the Lord. In the Bible, I ain't seen to give me one scripture. Somebody give me a scripture on that. Show me where Satan delivered anybody, right, out of the hands of another nation. He's never done that. He doesn't have delivering power. You see what I'm saying? You had the leaders that start to set the people in order, because one of the things they say about the Haitian Revolution, they say that they had a military structure that was unbreakable. One of the best military structures the world has ever seen. And it was structured out of a bunch of goddamn slaves. That's how it was happening. You know what I'm saying? It was structured out of a bunch of slaves with inferior weaponry, just like we see in the scriptures right here. You see what I'm saying? The Lord don't care about the might. The might and the weaponry and the guns, because the Lord looks for opportunity to show off. You know what I'm saying? He do. And the Lord, you know what I'm saying, regardless, and you know what? As a matter of fact, you know, in the day when the Lord comes, the Lord is going to use his traditional weapons. The Lord is going to, when they sit there and try and do things to the Lord going to send hail. The same thing that he sent, you know what I'm saying, and coals of fire, and the same things that he said, he's going to take their own weaponry and turn it back up on them. You see what I'm saying? The Lord ain't got to have this super vast technology and all of it. He ain't got to have all of that. The Lord, he loves to use simple things. You see what I'm saying? That's why Samson was able to slay 1,000 powerful, mighty Philistines with the jawbone of an ass. You see what I'm saying? That's why he was able to do that. You know, because the Lord loves to use the foolish things to confound the wise and the weak things to confound the strong. You see what I'm saying? The Lord always operates like that. The scriptures say that he's the same yesterday, today, and forever. Now, verse 22. So it came to pass in the day of the battle that there was neither sword nor spear found in the hand of any of the people that were with Saul and Jonathan. But with Saul and with Jonathan, his son, was there found. Means they were the only ones that had swords and spears. It was with Saul and Jonathan and everything, right? They were the only ones that had that, while everybody else had to use farm tools. You see what I'm saying? We started to get it in with damn farm tools. The Lord brings, he made the smith that fired the coals, as the scripture said. Paraphrase that, you know what I'm saying? The smith that blow up the coals. He made that. You know what I'm saying? And the white man's weaponry does not catch the Most High by surprise or any of that. You see what I'm saying? The Most High, in one instance, he used the damn avalanche to come and destroy thousands of people. They came up against the nation of Israel because they tried to say, because we whooped their behinds, we whooped their ass up in the mountains, right? And they said their God is a God of the mountains. So we'll fight them in the valleys. Oh, goodness, they were for bad to worse then. And that was the foolishness of them. You see what I'm saying? Now think about it. They got their behinds kicked up in the mountains because they thought that they were going to be able to whoop us inside up in the mountains, right? And they said, and they made the foolish mistake of saying, we'll go down and fight them in the valleys, knowing good and well that they're between two mountains, right? That they're between mountains on each side and avalanches coming. That's why they always want to tell you to be quiet during the time of if you're in a place that is known for avalanches, they tell you not to yell because the vibration of your voice can cause things up in the mountains to shake. It can cause an avalanche. You see what I'm saying? Because a person's voice is powerful and it carries. You see what I'm saying? And they get inside the rocks, right? That's why Christ said, if these people will not praise me, said the stones will cry out. You see what I'm saying? Now think about it for a second. Now they said, let's go down into the valley. The Lord uses the wits against them. You see what I'm saying? This is why it's so good for people not to think they're so goddamn smart. I only know one heathen king, and that was King Artaxerxes, and the Medes and the Persians that realized and come to terms with the fact that, he didn't put himself, he didn't just get on the top of the world by himself. You see what I'm saying? The Lord brought him up top. And that was enough to humble that man. That's why the Lord, preserved that kingdom like that. And he didn't take them down as fiercely as what he's taken down other kingdoms. You see what I'm saying? So, as I was saying, when they went down into the valley, right, the Lord brought an avalanche. You know what I'm saying? That avalanche, them boulders came down and slammed into those chariots, slammed into them people, and you could just imagine the horrific sight. The Lord can do the same damn thing. We could be in, like, say, for instance, Louisville is a valley. You know what I'm saying? Where I'm from, Louisville, Kentucky is actually a valley. We can be separate inside that valley, and the Lord can make the same incident happen. You see what I'm saying? It probably just won't be great stones, it'll probably be something else. You know what I'm saying? That the Lord will use and cause us an avalanche of the same type of damn way and wipe out many of goddamn white people, and we'll kill whatever the hell's left. You see what I'm saying? In Christ. You see what I'm saying? It could go down like that to defend ourselves, because we have a right to defend ourselves. And another incident that happened, with the riots, as we went through this class a few months back, with the riots, right? The black people that was being lynched and stoned and hung and all of the crazy stuff that happened to them, in St. Louis in the riots back in the early 1900s, right? These were black people that were in the city who were told not to go to the city, right? And you had one brother. This brother was a funeral director, so he worked in a funeral home, right? That brother was a military-minded man. Militant people are who the Lord's going to use to separate this nation and to help deliver this nation. You see what I'm saying? Your Christian pastor ain't no goddamn military man. He's not a military-minded man. Now, what happened with this brother, he'd been stockpiling weapons in caskets. Because he knew, in this brother's wisdom that the Lord had put up on this brother, he knew at some time that their town was going to be invaded by white people. And he wanted to defend themselves. You see what I'm saying? Now, the black people that was in the city, they made a massacre. The black people that wanted to integrate, they made a massacre of those black people. They were hanging them, raping the women, killing and cutting the women's throat, you know what I'm saying? Setting places on fire. They was doing all types of stuff. They were just killing us ferociously, right? But inside their town, when them white people tried to go inside that town, and that brother, that was a military-minded brother. This is why they want to kill all black leaders, because they're so scared that these black leaders will militarize you. You see what I'm saying? And what they did, and what that brother did was, he said that their brother had some military skills also. I don't know what the hell, whether he was in the army before or whatever, but actually, the actual army doesn't really teach you nothing, because it really teaches you how to be a fighting slave. You see what I'm saying? A real military-minded man has the mind of a free man. When blacks are in the military, we become military slaves, fighting slaves. You see what I'm saying? And we don't even understand, how to militarize anything for real by being in their army. All we know how to be is just that, a fighting slave. We don't even know why in the hell we even over in the damn country that we at. We don't know nothing. They just slap a gun in our hand and tell us, go over here and do this, occupy that. That's what we know. You see what I'm saying? So what this brother did, he set the men in order, took the strongest, the most mighty of men, gave them weapons. You see what I'm saying? And gave them orders. to start to set the people in order, and they brought brothers and they had a military structure. They made a military structure inside St. Louis, right? In that city, that little neighborhood or whatever it was inside St. Louis. And when them white people came, the report said that they mowed those white people down like grass. And the white people had way better weaponry and numbers. It said the black men in that city mowed it. They set everything in order, put the women and the children away, and the men came together and they tore those goddamn devils up. You see what I'm saying? The Lord was with them. And there was plenty of praying going on, right? Because it said that the women there, and a certain group was praying while the other group was fighting. You see what I'm saying? We did the same thing in the scripture. Prayer is powerful. You know what I'm saying? We had to do that. You try to go into battle without praying to the Most High. What do you think people did when the people that came against them was of the sands of the sea? And we was just like this little group. What the hell you think? Your own physical prowess is going to get you the victory? Hell no. They come into the sands of the damn sea, and you just like a few thousand or something like that. By the natural eye, you ready to get your ass dog walked. So what did they have to do? And the Most High heard those prayers and seen that the people were separate. And then by that way, started turning those goddamn devils up. You see what I'm saying? Started lighting those devils up. The victory ain't won by the most superior weaponry and numbers or nothing like that. We ain't never been the people that solely could rely upon that. You see what I'm saying? The only time if you seem like you can rely upon something like that is if you fighting against other niggas for a dope corner. You know what I'm saying? Because the Lord ain't neither one of them. So now you got to rely upon, you got more soldiers than this nigga. You know what I'm saying? You got more weapons, or you got this, you got that, you got that corner. You know what I'm saying? And you ready to go and take the other corner because it's a big one. You got more forces than what he got. You coming harder than what he's coming. Then you rely on things like that. You ain't got a damn choice. Because like I said, the Lord ain't with neither one of them. He ain't with neither one of your sides. You see what I'm saying? But also, too, it's another part of this whole race war thing that I want to break out, too. The Lord will be also against us, even if, especially the tribe of Judah. Because you see, many of the times when you read in the Bible when it says, and the Lord was angry with Judah, why does it say all of us was messed up, right? Why does it say specifically the Lord was angry with Judah? Because the kingship and everything is in Judah. You see what I'm saying? So even if we go to war with the other tribes like that, you know what I'm saying? They would probably have the upper hand because the Lord will be more angry with us than he is with them. He's angry with them too. But he will be more angry with us as the big brother. You see what I'm saying? Just like if you got a bunch of kids and the kids is doing something right, and you got the kid that you charge and tell them not to do that. And next thing you know, he's doing it and they follow him and they lead him and they doing it too. Now when you come and you're ready to hand out punishment, who are you going to be more angry with? You're going to be more angry with that child that you sat there and said, tell the other ones not to do that. Or, don't let them follow, don't set a bad example before them. You see what I'm saying? And also, too, the white man will merge himself with the other tribes to come against Judah also. You see what I'm saying? But the way that we can solve that problem, like I was saying, by separation. You see what I'm saying? Separation, joining ourselves to the Most High, and always being, mindful, war-minded. All right? Now, let me go to Leviticus chapter 20. And verse 26. And ye shall be holy unto me. For I, the Lord, am holy, and have severed you. Wait a minute, hold on. Severed you, what does that mean? Like, say, for instance, if I was to sever a page out of this book, right? That would mean I cut a page out and separate it from all the rest of the pages in that book. What does the Lord require of us? That we be severed from all the heathens. You see what I'm saying? That's what the Lord requires of us. And have severed you from other people, that ye should be mine. Now, we're going to go to 2 Corinthians. Chapter 6, verse 14. I'm going to start at the 13th verse on this. Now, for a recompense in the same, then it says in parentheses, I speak as unto my children, be ye also enlarged. Be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. Now, what does it talk about with us being enlarged, right? It said the Lord shall enlarge our heart to where we'll be able to see the vision clearly and more plainly that the Most High has for the nation of Israel. You see what I'm saying? And our vision won't be so narrow around just looking at some type of punk job or something like that. You know what I'm saying? That's not enlargement of heart right there. You know what I'm saying? That's not an enlargement. Be not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. Now, when we're yoked with unbelievers, because black Christian women love to use this, they love to use this. Whenever she sat there and get with some man or whatever, some dude from the world, or some dude that was in the church that ganged her little stupid ass up, and screwed her and everything, and then she found out, oh, we don't believe the same thing. Be ye not equally yoked with unbelievers. Well, she said with his semen all in her ass. You see what I'm saying? She'll say that. She'll use that as a scripture so that she can get out of a marriage or out of a relationship or any damn thing else. She'll use it for that purpose, right? But I'm going to show you what this is really talking about. It's really talking about not being equally yoked with the damn white man and the damn heathens. You see what I'm saying? That's what it's really talking about. Because the white man, the Christian white man, is the unbeliever. He's the unbeliever. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't even believe the Jew and Hebrews, according to the Bible. He doesn't believe in the laws. He believes in a Jesus that is actually a hippie. You see what I'm saying? He believes in long, stringy-haired, white Jesus that runs around with this robe on with no drawers up under the goddamn robe. You know what I'm saying? He believes that run around talking about peace and love with everybody and all that. He believes in that. He doesn't believe in Christ as a hardcore, austere black man that comes to save his people, that comes to sever his people from the midst of another people, as all throughout the Bible states that the Lord separated us from the other nations that was oppressing us. He doesn't believe in that Jesus. So how the hell are you gonna be, you talk about don't be unequally yoked with unbelievers, you got a man, you trying to use that as a goddamn scripture to separate yourself from your man. And so you thinking you can get another one. And then you go and you get another one. And then you say the same damn scripture, hey, don't be unequally yoked with unbelievers just because he don't agree with your goddamn ass when you sit there and talk about all people can be saved. You know what I'm saying? The God comes and he can save white people and he can, he's going to do all this and that. You use that scripture to break up with him. You see what I'm saying? That's pure wickedness right there. 2 Corinthians chapter 6 and verse 14. Be not, but what fellowship hath righteousness with others? And what communion hath light with darkness? And what concord hath Christ with Belial? Or what part hath he that believeth with an infidel? Who the hell is the infidel? We love to say that the black person that, that another black man is the infidel. And black women love to say this, and they love to say that the black man, black man's the heathen. That if he don't believe in Jesus, then that black man's the heathen, but then that'd be the same nigga you go out and have sex with. You know what I'm saying? While claiming to be a woman of the Lord yourself. And use that as a ready-made excuse to break up with that man. You see what I'm saying? And then try and get you another man. You the goddamn unbeliever. You are the unbeliever. You run around hopping from rod to rod, and all you got a string of infidels. If you got a string of infidels behind your ass, what the hell are you? And what agreement hath the temple of God with idols? For ye are the temple of the living God, as God has said, I will dwell in them and walk in them. Now, check this out, right? What is this talking about? It said, I shall dwell in them and walk in them. Just now, picture this for a second. Picture a king in his kingdom. He's walking through his kingdom and seeking, making sure that what's going on in the kingdom to make sure that the kingdom is safe. That's what it's talking about when it said that I will walk. It says, I will dwell in them and walk in them, and I will be their God, and they shall be my people. You see what I'm saying? The Lord will walk as a king among us, and we will be the subjects, the people inside his kingdom. That's what that scripture is talking about right there. But as long as now this is how you start, this is how you do, this is how you win a war. If the Lord is dwelling in you and walking among you, you're not going to lose. You see what I'm saying? The white man can come with all the weaponry and all the sneaky and crafty stuff that he wants. And just like now, the white man is the most subtle beast of the field, is the serpent in Genesis, right? So, but when it says that the Lord will walk in them, right? There will literally be angels among the people making sure that everything is good. That there's no way for a serpent to come in. If the serpent comes in, he gets his head bruised. You see what I'm saying? Wherefore come out from among them. Who is the them? Who is it talking about come out from among? Come out from among white people. You know what I'm saying? Come out from among white people and be ye separate, saith the Lord, and touch not the unclean thing. Don't touch no goddamn pork. Don't touch Christmas. Don't touch Thanksgiving. You see what I'm saying? Black women, don't touch feminism. You see what I'm saying? Don't touch the worship of Ashtoreth, because that's where it all stems from. The worship of Ashtoreth. Don't touch that. And I will receive you, and I will be. Now we're going to Judges, chapter 3. Almost to the time of closing it out. Judges chapter 3, verse 1. Now these are the nations which the Lord left to prove Israel by them, even as many of Israel as had not known all the wars of Canaan. Because I mean, we are people as quick as hell to forget. We are a very forgetful people. That's one of the reasons why we don't even remember the actual victories and everything that we had. Like, say for instance, when you had the Rodney King riots, right? Now there was a certain neighborhood in LA. You know, I don't know where Rodney King got beat at or whatever the case was, but in this neighborhood, right? You had the men of Judah, you know what I'm saying, in LA that took and pick up stones. When the police were surrounding the place, they fought the police off with stones. You know what I'm saying? They threw rocks at the police cars. The police that had a blushish look on his face, and they hopped in their cars and took off. They had guns. You see what I'm saying? But for one thing, let me tell you what happened. Blacks and Hispanics were separate. And that was also at the time, I remember this time, this is very, very early 90s. You know what I'm saying? The time when I was a teenager. Now, what was going on, what happened at that time, also you had the music that was, rebellious against, you had F the Police and, you had, all of this stuff going on, right? And the music become the vibe, of the people and everything too. You see what I'm saying? And you had brothers that took up rocks in the face of danger and start smacking those damn police cars. And the police blustily went back inside their cars and took off. They fought them down. Not every war results in death. You got warfare on the earth that's in all levels. You see what I'm saying? Let me tell you one of the reasons why. Those police officers hopped in their car and took on off because they seen that the people were unified. They had way better weaponry. You see what I'm saying? The brothers didn't even have no goddamn guns. The brothers just had rocks. The police had way better weaponry, and they drove off, and those brothers took that goddamn neighborhood. You see what I'm saying? For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal. Hold on, let me close it out with that scripture. Hold on, I want to close it out with that. Karuka. Second Corinthians 10 and 4. All right. Second Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 4. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds, casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalts itself against the knowledge of God, and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Christ, and having in a readiness to revenge all disobedience when your obedience is fulfilled. The weapons of our warfare are not carnal. You see what I'm saying? And also, like I said before, not every war results in death because none of the cops died. You see what I'm saying? And none of the brothers that was throwing the stones died, but those brothers did what we call in the ISUPK taking ground. You see what I'm saying? That right there is warfare. They saw that the people was united. And that's when they start to You know, that's when right after that scared the hell out of the white man so bad. That's why the white man started taking over all the music industry. You see what I'm saying? That's why they started to do that. Because when we rose up, the Hispanics rose up right with us. You see what I'm saying? And we came together. You know, for all these dumb, silly, you know, black, dumb, silly Negroes that run around talking about, oh, well, the Hispanics ain't never helped us. That's a goddamn lie. You only say that because you love white people so goddamn much. Why don't you look at history? Why don't you look all throughout history, silly? You only saying that because you love white people. And that's it. With that being said, we are the ISUBK coming out of 1 West on the 25th Street, Harlem, New York, at the Commander General Yohana. Pay your tithes, pay your offers, support the brothers in this truth that's out there on the battlefield fighting this spiritual warfare for you. And with that being said, shalom.
Okay. When you sitting in the Israelite school at UBK,